Speaking of which, China is still facing possible long-term effects even if a trade deal is scored. We're getting reports now that Apple is seriously exploring the possibility of making a good chunk of its phones, maybe up to a third, maybe more, out of China and to other locales. And then again, no matter what happens on the trade front. Stanford School of Business lecturer Dave Dodson on that. It's interesting, Professor, because this follows other companies considering the exact same thing. What do you make of it?
Well, I think if Apple moves a third of their jobs, or a third of Chinese jobs out of China and manufactures them in places like Vietnam or India, I think to China that's going to be one big who cares. Because here's the thing, Neil. China is likely to trade a few low-skilled manufacturing jobs for Apple's phones in return for winning the smartphone market in Asia. Apple employs about 3 million people, either directly or indirectly, in China. Now, that sounds like a lot. It's not a lot if the workforce is 776 million people. So even if, let's say, 500,000 jobs move offshore away from China, that's nothing for China in terms of their workforce population. Sorry about that. But what is interesting is this, is during this whole time, Huawei is winning the smartphone market in China. They have now unseated Apple as the #2 provider of smartphones in China. That's the big news. And that is a structural change, Neil, that is not likely to change. So that's why China is certainly willing to trade a few low-skilled manufacturing jobs to win the smartphone market in Asia. And they're going to win it for a long time, and here's why. First of all, as a result of the trade war and sort of nationalistic tendencies in China, especially the way the United States has talked about Huawei, this shift from Apple or Android phones to Huawei phones is semi-permanent because people don't go back and forth between the phones that they use. But here's the second thing, and here's the thing that is really potentially going to be the home run for Huawei and what will hurt Apple in the long run, is Huawei's going to develop their own operating system. And once they have their own operating system, Neil, they don't even need Google. So that's the price that we're really going to pay in the long run.
You know, Professor, I do wonder if other companies follow what Apple is doing, because many of these companies predate Apple. They have moved operations to cheaper locales, Thailand, Vietnam, as you say. In one case, it was a distributor moved to Guadalajara, Mexico, just as those tariffs were being threatened. But leaving that aside, they don't want what's been a drip, drip, drip to turn into a flood, an exodus like that, do they?
Well, no, of course, but these are all the unintended consequences of a long-term trade war. See, what we were hoping is we were hoping for a short-term trade war where we could sort of tweet some tariffs at China, and they would come to the table and we would make some changes and it would be fine. But what's happened is we're seeing throughout the whole globe these trading patterns that are changing. It's not just in Apple iPhones. It's also in soybean market. It's across how our automobile manufacturers are supplying their steel and aluminum. So we're seeing a whole reset in global supply chains. And global supply chains are like these intricate neural networks. If you change one piece of it, it ripples through the whole supply chain. And so these are going to take years to change, and they will be permanent changes. There is no way that Apple is going to have the same dependency on one country going forward, just like China is not going to be dependent upon U.S. soybean producers the way they have.
But if you think about it, I know I'm going a little over time here, but China has been a beacon for a lot of these businesses, cheap labor and all that. It's not as cheap now, so as it grows and becomes the economic powerhouse it has, it's losing out to cheaper production rivals, even around their neighborhood. So I guess I'm asking, with whatever happens on the trade front, does China have to worry about post-trade issues that are bigger than trade much more than we do?
I think the part that we're missing is that China is moving from being a low-cost supplier of manufacturing products to a consumer. And a finished product is really, that's the prize. It's not these individual components. And that's why I'm saying China is certainly going to trade some low-skilled manufacturing jobs as a result of this trade war. What's really going to happen, what we really need to focus on is what is going to happen to the finished goods products in China. And that's why I'm talking about things like Huawei in terms of their finished product sales to China.
All right, Dave Dodson, I cannot imagine being one of your students. That must be a very fun class, and the issues and enthusiasm you show. He's a Stanford School of Business lecturer, following this very, very closely. Thank you.